Today we are reviewing Unit 4. I am most likely going to do like Unit 1 and 2 on Monday because it's some of the stuff that's the more basic math, but it will still kind of be a good review for you to remember, oh yes, I do know what a line is. I do know what parallel lines are. So for Unit 4, I wanted to go over proportions. Now, I'm not going over how to set them up. I'm not going over what is the proportion for similar triangles. I'm just simply going over proportions. So I want to give you a couple names here. So in this proportion, A over B equals C over D. D is what is known as the fourth proportional. Okay, so the reason being is because it is the first, second, third, fourth term. So if you look here, this is the fourth. Okay, so that is just simply the fourth proportional, is the fourth number mentioned. Okay, and the one below that we have A over B equals B over C. Now in this case, I only have 3 letters, so C ends up being the third proportional here. Now the reason why this is the third proportional is because it's not only the third number or the third term, this is what is known as a mean proportional problem. So in this case, B is the mean proportion. Do you guys remember, or well, I guess, do you remember that term? Because if you don't, you should probably go back and look this over. Again, this is in Unit 4, so if you need to go look over any of this stuff in detail, you can go to your index in the front of your book, find Unit 4, and start browsing through the pages. But yes, so this is the mean proportional. So these are the means, so it's the mean proportional. And then when you have a mean proportional, you end up with the third proportional being the third term. So now I'm going to go over the 5 main properties. Now I looked at it, and other than a little bit of wording, properties 1 and 2 are fairly similar, so I'm just going to review this. So it's basically saying if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 different terms, and it's A over B equals C over D, it just simply means that you can do A times D and have it equal C times B. Now property 1 lists this as the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes, whereas property 2 mentions this as the product of 2 quantities is equal to the product of the other 2. You can switch them. So basically what property 2 is saying that if this is true, then this is true, and it's also saying that I could put this as B over A equals D over C. So it's simply saying that if this, then this, and also that if I wanted to. But they do kind of go back and forth to where they use similar setup as far as wording. So that can get confusing with the separation of those. I know I explained this a while ago, but this is back in Unit 4. We did this, I believe, before Christmas. So if you forgot, it's okay. That's why I'm doing all this review now. Okay, so property 3, if you look here, we have a mean proportional because we have B and B. It simply states that if you have a setup like this, if you multiply it all out, you're going to end up with A times C equals B squared. But they say if it's a mean proportional, you can simply say that B equals the square root of A times C. I'm going to kind of put in parentheses, or I'll put because B squared equals A times C, so that if you end up knowing B but you're looking for C, this kind of can help you figure out any missing parts. Okay, so that is essentially the property for a mean proportional. Now, property 4 simply states if you have 2 sets of equal proportions, you can just multiply them. So I can say A times W over B times X equals C times Y over D times Z. So if you look, it's almost as if I'm putting the left sides of the equal sign together and the right sides of the equal sign together. That's really all it's doing. So that's that property. And then property 4 is one that states if they're all equal, you can actually just set it up to say that A plus C plus E and so on over B plus D plus F again and so on. All of that is actually going to add up and then simplify back to A over B. So that's all that's saying, is that's one of the ways you can know if they are for sure equal, or what. It's just something fun that we can do with proportions. A lot of people don't like proportions because they think it's a lot of fractions, but I feel like there are ways that you can bring proportions into this and make them a little more realistic and possibly fun with this. So those are the 5 main properties that we went over in this, and then just a couple of terms you need to know. So I will see you on Monday, and like I said, I'm going to try and make it a more basic review before I jump into your exam. Just a heads up, if you're watching this, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, your exam is gonna be split up over Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday so that it's not all in a big chunk. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible on you. Just be ready to not just take it on Tuesday and then not show up to class for the rest of the week, because you will still have to finish the exam. It's not only going to be on Tuesday, but it's going to be shorter problems, and that's all you're going to have to do for that day, is that part of the test. So I will see you on Monday, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we've got 1 week left of school. We can do this. Just keep pushing on.